Hey, this is Zach with PRP Seats, here today to show you PRP seat covers for the Toyota Tacoma. These seat covers bring a brand new look and feel to the interior of your Tacoma. And just like all PRP seats, they're fully customizable with over 60 different colors and materials to choose from. All of our seat covers are handcrafted to perfectly fit over the stock seats for a very tight and OEM looking fit and finish. The seat covers are great for protecting your stock upholstery from use and abuse, while also being customizable. PRP has seat covers available for the 2012 and newer Toyota Tacomas, with different seat cover models available depending on the generation and trim level. Today, we're gonna do an installation on this 2024 TRD. For this newer 4th generation, our seat covers will fit the SR5 and TRD models, but not the TRD Pros, since they have the isodynamic seats. So let's get started. First thing you need to do when you get your covers in the mail or in the box is pull them out, let them sit out in the sun. Depending on how long these covers have been in a box, on a shelf, they may have some wrinkles and stuff like that just from how they were folded up. The best thing you can do is let them heat up and warm up. Let that material stretch out, and it will make installation a lot easier and help to get rid of a lot of those little wrinkles. First step is to pull off the headrest. Usually you need to tilt the seat forward just a little bit, pull it all the way up, press the buttons, and pop it off. Next up, we're gonna install the top cover onto the seat. Grab the top cover and make sure it has the airbag flap that goes towards the outside shoulder right here where the airbag is. Then open up the bottom, open up the zippers on the back, make sure they're all the way opened up. Then you're gonna slide it over the top of the seat. On the top of the headrest, you're gonna have these 2 little holes. Take that corner, push it underneath and around the plastic slot where the headrests go until it sits underneath nice and flush. Take the material, start to tuck it down and around the sides of the seat and start to get everything in place. On this front flap right here, you're gonna tuck that through the center of the seat towards the back. On the back side of the seat, you're gonna lift this flap up down here, and there's this carpeted piece on the stock seat. Reach your hand underneath, and you're gonna find this little elastic band that is holding it in place. You're just gonna kind of push it forward till it comes undone. Then find the other one on the other side and do the same thing. Take this back flap and zip up the zipper on the side next to the center console. Usually just makes it a little bit easier to do this one first. Then take this little excess piece of zipper and tuck it back up and underneath the cover to keep it out of the way. Do the same on the outside zipper. Take that flap and tuck it up and underneath so it's out of the way. Then you're gonna take this flap from the stock seat, fold it up and underneath the cover so it's out of the way and hidden. Make sure it just stays pretty flat. It doesn't get all bunched up so it doesn't make any weird creases on the back right here. Now we can find this flap from the front that we pulled through. Continue to pull that all the way through on here. Then we're gonna pull up hard on it, get it nice and tight, and connect it to the Velcro on the back of the seat cover. The tighter you can get this, the tighter overall fitment you're gonna have with less wrinkles and a better fit for your seat cover. Then we're gonna come on the front, still kind of loose and baggy in the front. So we're gonna move everything around, tuck in all the corners and edges down here on the other side and get the cover to be sitting exactly how it needs to be. Pull down on the top of the cover, just making sure everything's sitting in there nice, everything where it's supposed to be. Then for this airbag flap, you have a small little mesh material like that. You need to tuck that in and underneath this top cover so it lays flat. And if you ever get in an accident, it will allow that seat cover and that airbag to deploy. So start your hands at the top, kind of tuck it over the front and work your way down as you go. Now that I got everything tucked in, it's still a little loose here in the front, so I'm gonna go on the back, pull really tight on that back flap, readjust it, and get everything tightened down. One cool feature to note on the newer Tacomas, the driver's seat actually doesn't have a pocket back here. It only has one on the passenger seat, but both of our covers come with the pockets. So if you have kids putting iPads or tablets back in here, now you'll have them on both sides. Next up, we're gonna place on the bottom cover. These are the same on the driver and passenger side. On the front of the cover, you're gonna find a little felt strip that's hiding this hook strip right here. Take that, once you wrap it around the front of the seat, you're gonna attach that to the carpet underneath the front. And you're gonna kind of take this edge right here, tuck it underneath the plastic, and then continually go along this entire edge so you get this little black ribbon piece underneath the plastic side skirt. There's not a plastic skirt on the inside, so a little bit easier, but just continue to tuck it down and around on that corner. Take this flap in the back and tuck it underneath and through the center of the seat. Then, just like before, lift up that back flap, find the flap that you push through on here, and pull it through the rest of the way so it's nice and tight on the front. On this one, just make sure you don't pull it too far over to one side or the other, or start to add some wrinkles and kind of weird waviness on the front. On the back of this flap, you're gonna find these two little J clips that are with an elastic band. You're gonna tuck this underneath, and if you feel underneath the seat, there are multiple little black metal wires running side to side along the entire bottom of the seat. Take that end of the J clip and hook it onto one of those. There's also, like I said, several of these going up the seat. So if you need to tighten or loosen the seat cover a little bit, you can just choose which one of those wires to go to. Then back on the front side, looking at this cover, I can see I kind of pulled it over, too far over on this one side. So I'm gonna go in the back, readjust it, move everything around as I need, make sure everything's kind of tucked in on the sides right here, and get it in the position I need. Now that you got everything on, you're gonna do the exact same on the opposite side seat, all the exact same steps. One thing to note is that if you have any small little wrinkles like this, once you get in the car, the seat covers are on for about 30 days, a month or so. They get hot in the sun, you sit in them more, that material will move around and stretch out, and a lot of these little wrinkles will come out. We also recommend going back down, tightening up both of those straps and that hook and loop strap in the back, get everything really tight after about 30 days, and allow everything to stretch out nicely. Next up, we're gonna place on the headrest cover. Make sure that the PRP logo is always going towards the front, or the rubber patch always goes towards the back. Open up the flaps on the bottom. You can open up all these. Then you're gonna take your headrest, place it on a table or workbench, is usually a little bit easier, and you're gonna slide the top of the cover over the headrest while kind of pushing down and depressing on the foam. Once you get it around the corners, you're gonna pull all of these flaps out. Make sure everything is lined up nice. Take these two side flaps, wrap them around that bar, and attach the hook and loop strips. And finally, take this front and back one, pull it nice and tight, and attach the hook and loop strips there. Final step is just to make sure everything's even, nice, the logo's not crooked or anything like that. So if you need to push and pull the material around, make sure that everything lines up and looks nice. Then put the headrest cover on. Make sure to just incline the seat a little bit forward, line up those two bars, and slide it down. Now that we're done with the front seats, we're gonna move on to installing the rear bench. On the rear bench, there is a 40 side and a 60 side that has that kind of centerpiece on there. with 2 big headrests and these small center headrests on there. First step is going to be to remove the headrests. Kind of press the button, pop them up and kind of lean them forward. Press both sides and that headrest will pop right off. So we're going to start on the 40 side section, the smaller side section, with the top cover. Take your cover and undo the strip back here. Open up the zipper if it's all closed up. Then you're going to pull this release lever up on the top, kind of get the top of it kind of like a 45-degree angle, and then slide the cover over the top. Pull the cover down and around, start to get it into place. Make sure that the 2 different cutout slots are fairly well lined up so it doesn't get in the way. Then, just like on the front seat for these headrest slots, you're gonna push a corner underneath and then kind of work your way around, tucking that material around the edge underneath so it sits nice and flush with the plastic on top. Make sure that pull tab just gets pulled through this little slot right here so you can still access it. Take the center flap and push it through the center of the seat towards the back and kind of pull it up through here. Once everything is lined up fairly nicely, you're going to close this zipper on the outside edge and then tuck this excess piece underneath and out of the way. Then grab that flap in the back of the seat back here, pull it real tight. Just remember, the tighter you get it, the more it's going to pull on the front of the seat and get that front cover to look real nice and tight. Then you're going to connect it to the back of the PRP cover right here. Go back on the front, make sure everything's looking pretty good, everything's kind of moved around. If you need to come here and move everything around, like you can kind of see the seat cover's not pulled all the way down on the front. It's still kind of baggy right here and I can tell it's kind of bunching up. So I'm going to kind of pull it down a little bit more. You can see these corners right here, just kind of tuck them up and underneath and kind of get them out of the way around that hinge piece right there. You can see too, I just need to adjust the cover a little bit and get it to sit more flush with where this attachment point is for the bottom cushion, where it hinges up right there. Then, because I readjusted everything on the front, I'm going to come back here and readjust and retighten this back flap to get it to sit super nice. Next up, we're going to do the bottom piece. You can see this is going to have the multiple elastic bands on the bottom, and this is the smaller side piece. Next up, go on the bottom and undo all of these elastic strips. You're going to have 2 going front to back, 2 going side to side. Flip the cover over. Usually like to start with the back. Take these 2 back straps, kind of feed them through the back on there. Then you're going to take this flap and kind of tuck it around towards the back of where this car seat anchor is. Then flip the seat up. It's going to make it a lot easier to kind of wrap it around back here with that anchor kind of out of the way, and then start to put on the front seat. When you're pulling this front edge over, just make sure you don't pull it over too far. This banding right here should sit right at the edge, kind of where the front and the bottom meet. So that way it just doesn't bunch up in the back if you pull it too far on there. And then continue to pull that back little hump area around the back on there, around the bottom. Push it in and kind of feed it next to the plastic hinges. Try to get everything into the space where it needs to be. On the outside, make sure this holding strap or pull strap is fed through that. That way you can still access it and latch it up here when you need to hold that bottom of the seat up. Once everything is sitting nicely, you're going to start to attach all these straps together. Just do a final check, move, push, kind of contort the material around as you need. Make sure everything's fitting in there nice. And if you need to, you can go on the bottom, pull those straps even tighter and connect them to get a really nice tight fit on the top. Now we're going to do the top side for the 60 side of the bench. Just like before, go on the back, undo the zipper, get everything all opened up back here. Pull the release handle, kind of get the bench folded halfway forward, and slide it over the top. Just like the other side, you're going to use these little holes where the headrest slots go. Get it underneath and then work your way around each corner as you go. So that headrest slot plastic sits flush over the top. Pull this little pull strap through the slot so you're still able to access it and pull it. Then take that center flap, push it through the center of the seat, kind of fold the seat halfway down as you do it. Then go on the back side, find that flap and start to pull it up and get it into place. Next, zip up that zipper on the side right here. Then take that excess piece and just tuck it up and underneath so it's out of the way. Then you're going to grab that flap in the back, pull it up real tight on here, and start to attach it to the back of the PRP cover. Works best if you just kind of start in the middle point, get that tight, and then work your way on one side, pull and attach as you go, and kind of work it on the other side. Go back to the front, see how everything's fitting. Make sure you tuck in all the corners and edges, like around here where the plastic hinges, and make sure everything just looks nice and tight and is fitting good. And then we're gonna start on the 60 side bottom cushion. Just like before, go on the bottom, undo all of these elastic straps, then flip it over, start to put the cover on the seat, and you can pull it up like a 45-degree angle as well to make it easier. Take the straps in the back and start to feed them through the back of the seat and underneath. When you get to the seatbelt buckles right here, it's usually easier to kind of pop the seat up like this and get them out of the way so you can feed that material on the bench or on the cover around it with that seatbelt out of the way so it doesn't interfere. On the inside corner, just kind of pull this cover down underneath or behind this bracket, as you can see here. Just continue to pull, push, get all the material around all the corners and where the seatbelt slot is. Once you feel you got it fairly well on there, go and start attaching all of these elastic bands. Make sure to pull this strap through the little hole so you can access it later. And then go around, moving the material around, go on the bottom, retighten those straps as needed. You can pull them a little bit tighter, then attach them, and move the material around until it's sitting nice and tight. And the last step for the rear bench is just to put on the headrest covers. Once again, if you have a PRP logo, make sure it always goes in the front or that the rubber label goes in the back. Usually it's best to put this on a workbench or something like that where you can kind of hold this in place. Then slide the top of the headrest cover over the headrest. You can kind of push and pull on, depress the foam material around there to make it a little bit easier. Then attach these two little circle straps that go around the bars. Then attach the front and rear flaps and connect them in the middle. On the center headrest, you're going to do the same thing. Open up all the flaps and get it on there nice and easy. I usually like to start by going over the front of the headrest and then kind of pulling it back like this. And that way all I have to do is just get that back corner over. Then just kind of adjust it around, make sure it's sitting nicely on there, kind of lined up with where it should be. Then attach these two back flaps and get it nice and tight. Then put the headrests back into the vehicle. And then comes the center console cover. Pretty fairly easy on here. Just got a bunch of elastic straps on the bottom that you're going to open up. Open up your center console. Make sure you have this side with the kind of bigger, wider opening towards the back. Kind of place it over. Then you're just going to take those two elastic straps in the back, just going to feed them underneath and through, kind of get them majority of the way in there, and then open up and close it a couple times. As you do it, you kind of get it to feed in even farther, so that way you can grab it from the front. And start to attach those straps on the bottom. Move that material around, get all the sides to sit down nice and tight so it looks good. The final touch to finish off your custom interior, sold separately. And that's it. If you have any questions or issues that pop up, feel free to contact your local authorized dealer, or you can find us at prpseats.com.